Summer 2020. Donald Trump has lost his second presidential campaign. His first term saw him go to war with North Korea and fined by the United Nations over global warming offenses. Sick of the bastard, America have voted the Special Snowflake Socialist Party into the White House. The SSSP is a far-left political group, and the new president's first decree was to pass the Online Mindfulness Act, which made online trolling illegal. When Trump sends an asinine comment in the form of a tweet, he is arrested and charged with online mental endangerment. This is his trial.
Silence, please. The court is now in session. All rise. I don't need to tell you how important this case is for the United States of America. It is the so-called trial of the century, and I expect everyone to be on their best behaviour. Donald J. Trump, you stand here today accused of the crime of online mental endangerment as outlined by the Online Mindfulness Act. How do you plead?
This was so unnecessary. Hard-working Americans work so hard for their families, for their careers, and this is what their tax dollars are being spent on? I mean, really. Not guilty.
Mr. Putin, your opening statement, please.
My client Donald Trump is good president. He is innocent of crime you accuse him. I approve this to you. Thank you.
Thank you. You may sit down. Mrs. Clinton, your opening statement, please.
The district attorney didn't think I should lead this case at first, but I managed to convince him, citing my vast experience and knowledge afforded to me by a career in politics. After all, I am a former First Lady and was almost the first female president.
Your Honor, I've had the displeasure of competing against Mr. Trump before, but I can assure you I only wish to do my job here today. Every country has laws. Laws that must be respected by everyone living there, else society would collapse. We have a law preventing murder, but there is a clause suggesting murder may be necessary when protecting your own life. In this instance, a provoked attack in which someone's life is at stake changes the moral standing point. However, Mr. Trump's attack on the government was not provoked. His life was not in danger, and he was not in a position of authority to do what he did. He merely committed the crime that he stands accused of because he thought he could get away with it. During his presidency, he got away with a lot of things. This man has a crime to answer for, and it's my job to prosecute him. A loss in this case could never compare to a loss in the American spirit.
It was bad enough having to watch these two fight for the presidency, and now I had to watch them fight in court. I would argue that this is worse, because now there's even more resentment on Clinton's part, and even more pride on Trump's.
This is a woman who has lost the respect of her people and thinks her husband is underfoot. Believe me, the good former First Lady's husband has less morals than Ronald Reagan, and she wants to question my moral integrity?
Will the prosecution call their first witness?
The prosecution calls former British Prime Minister Theresa May to the stand.
You have Donald Trump on trial. You have Vladimir Putin acting as his defence. You even have Hillary Clinton prosecuting. And now you have Theresa May acting as eyewitness testimony. I mean, for goodness sake, what is this, a satire? Please state your full name for the record.
Theresa Mary May.
Thank you for being with us, Miss May. Could you tell us about the day that you witnessed Mr. Trump send the illegal tweet?
Yes. I was attending the meeting of the FWLA, Former World Leaders Anonymous. Mr. Trump and I was at the biscuit table while he asked my opinion on the Special Snowflakes Socialist Party.
Obviously, they are a very good party and have very strong moral standing. The United States have always been an excellent ally to Britain, and there's no reason why that should not continue.
I said I didn't have much of an opinion because I wasn't very familiar with their policies. That's when Mr. Trump took it upon himself to educate me. He said some very critical things, and the more he went on, the more he seemed to anger himself. It got to the point where he couldn't control himself, and so he wanted to open the mind of the public. That's when he wrote that tweet. He showed me as soon as he hit send.
Thank you, Miss May. No further questions, Your Honor.
One might say that the new administration's commitment to online safety is a tad too far and a waste of taxpayers' money. But not me. Security is of vital importance. I would never say such a thing.
How do you feel about Mr. Trump?
I beg your pardon?
Do you like this man? Is he a good man? Is he friendly? Did you think he was a good president?
Well, yes, I thought so.
Why is it then you block his UK visits?
I don't quite understand what you mean.
I have a document here saying July 19th, 2018. You signed document to block Trump visits but never re-invite him.
This is all a misunderstanding.
Am I misunderstanding when I say that majority of British population signed campaign to delay visit?
Well, No, that is accurate.
Is it also accurate to say that you signed document to please British population?
There may be some truth in that.
So you admit to that? Because this paper I have says that visit was cancelled due to snap elections. Which is the truth?
Well,
Your Honor, this woman lied on official legal documents. It'd be foolish to assume she's not lying now. Thank you.
I did not expect to be questioned on Mr. Trump's UK visit or lack thereof. It is true that the majority of the country signed a petition to ban him. If there's one thing the Brits love other than queuing, it's a good old petition.
You may step down, Mrs. May. The defence may call their first witness.
The defense calls Mike Tyson instead.
Please state your full name for the record.
Michael Gerald Tyson. Yeah, that's right, Mike Tyson. I agreed to be a witness here today to support my boy, Mr. Trump.
Mr. Tyson, could you please describe your relationship with Mr. Trump?
I've known Mr. Trump for a very long time. He supported my career and he's been a great personal friend.
And could you please tell the court why you decided to come here today?
I wanted to support my friend here today because too many people say too many bad things about him and they misunderstand him and don't understand how much of a great guy he is and how much he cares for our country. All the people that say mean stuff about him are the same people that started all this mean online commenting. Now they're in charge of the White House. They still ain't making a law saying that you can't say mean stuff online. They're saying that you can't say stuff that they think is mean. That ain't right, man. That ain't right.
Thank you. No further questions. You're a witness?
Oh, Your Honor, what is the point of the defense calling in a witness who hasn't actually witnessed anything?
He is character witness.
As though Mr. Trump needs one. He's the most famous man on the planet.
Your Honor, my witness is necessary to attest to my client's character.
Why is this necessary, Mr. Putin?
Because his name has been dragged through the mud. These people think of him as villain. Because he is white man. Because he is rich man. Because he likes women. All these people, so concerned with the things that make them different. They only see the bad things. It is not wise to believe everything you hear in the media.
Very well, you may step down, Mrs. Tyson. It appears to me you cannot argue why Mr. Tyson was necessary in your case, beyond character media assassination. Therefore, I am forced to disregard his testimony. We are here to determine whether or not Mr. Trump is guilty of a crime, not whether or not he's a nice man.
What a stupid thing to do. I've always been a Tyson fan. Always, always. He's a Van Gogh of boxing. And his testimony was vital. This whole charade is getting out of hand. Of course I'm a nice guy. Look at me.
Come on, guys, man. Trump ain't the enemy here. If they left me in there for a few more seconds and hadn't made me leave, I would have said something real bad. Something much worse than any tweet Trump could have wrote.
Are there any more witnesses?
My client has something he wishes to say, Your Honor.
Very well.
Oh, here we go. Another Trump speech on American values. Aren't you sick of this shit already?
Your Honor, I care about my country. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal. It was blessed on the belief that anybody could travel here, work hard, and become rich. We, as a nation, have so much to be proud of. Now, when I, a long-standing American citizen, noticed things going on in my country I didn't agree with, I stepped up. I ran for presidency, and I won. I am nothing if not the living embodiment of the American way. I am nothing if not the living embodiment of American values. I am nothing if not the living embodiment of the American dream. Now, our Constitution has bestowed us with the right of free speech, and as a patriotic American, I intend to assert that right. So I ask you, Your Honor, what's more important, the feeling of the select few minorities, or the freedom on which this country was founded?
I rest my case.
Mrs. Clinton.
Your Honor, I would like to present the court with Exhibit A, B, and C. What I've just handed you is Exhibit A, the illegal tweet sent from Mr. Trump's Twitter account. Exhibit B, a CCTV frame taken from the FWLA meeting showing Mr. Trump and Ms. May conversing. And Exhibit C, an additional CCTV frame showing Mr. Trump holding his phone screen up to Ms. May's gaze. Your Honor, not only does this evidence support the testimony of my witness, but also proves incontrovertibly that Mr. Trump is guilty of this crime. And may I take a moment to point out the hypocrisy of his rhetoric? How can all men be created equal when so many police officers aren't brought to justice for shooting African American people? How was this country blessed on the principle that anyone could travel here when Mr. Trump imposed a travel ban? If a right can be amended, which is what the right to free speech is, an amendment, it can be amended again. Your Honor, Mr. Trump has practically admitted to the crime in his own criminal trial. While I hate to admit to the American people, free speech has never existed in this country and probably never will. I rest my case. It's a hard pill to swallow, knowing the country you were brought up in doesn't care about you as much as you thought it did. But with the right people in power, things can change. When I lost to Trump, I took it. It was hard, but I took it, and I pray to God that he would do right by our people, but he didn't. And now I pray that the special snowflake Socialist Party and our President Michael Moore will do a better job.
After hearing the cases of both parties, I've reached a verdict. All rise. Mr. Trump, there is no doubt in my mind, neither in the mind of the public, that you did commit this crime. Since your counsel has neglected to inform you, or perhaps he himself isn't aware of the inauguration of President Moore, this argument regarding your First Amendment right is no longer valid. That's not permissible in this court. You no longer have the right. The President has removed it from its constitution. In simple terms, Mr. Trump, your case was rested with only a cross-examination of a witness or prosecution, a witness whose testimony was sufficiently proven true. Since there is no constitutional issue and no evidence to prove you did not commit this crime, I, Justice Jean Finch, do hereby find you, Donald J. Trump, guilty of the crime of online mental endangerment as outlined by the Online Mindfulness Act. The state of Washington sentenced you to death via lethal injection. The court is now adjourned.
To death? They're sentencing me to death for Twitter? Are they joking? They know who I am. I'm Donald Trump. I made this country great again. Are they joking? How dare they?